Hey everybody, Nikki Burnett here with Taste Like Nutrition. I'm a functional nutritionist and I practice strategic evidence-based nutrition. And I'm here with my great friend, Fran Gallagher. You've seen her before, you've met her before. She's amazing. She's with Really Flourish. She's an intuitive coach and has helped a ton of people. So what we decided we wanted to talk about is holiday bad habits and what we all do during the holidays that create these bad habits that then it kind of sends, we think, okay, well, we're going to start over at the beginning of the year and everything's going to be fine. But then how difficult is it? Because you've changed your body a little bit, you've changed the chemistry, you've changed so many things, you've changed your mental and emotional attitude. And so we've done, this damage. And some of it's really damage and some of it maybe not as bad. But either way, we've done some damage that we're trying to then reverse. And it takes a lot of flipping work. So if we just do a few things that maybe aren't so out of control, a lot of us get a little out of control.
Do you want to show them your Christmas tree?
Oh, do you want to see my tree?
Just so they know that you aren't a Scrooge.
I'm not a Scrooge.
You're not bad-mouthing
okay.
the holidays.
Here we go. There's my tree. Yeah, there's a tree. What else do we have? We've got behind us, we've got the lights and the poinsettia and the Noel. And then I got a dog. There's a dog right there. That's my little foster, little Miss Daisy May. She's pretty awesome if you're looking for a cool little Carolina dog. She is about as good as it gets.
Aw, she is. And
yeah.
she's, what, 30 pounds? 20?
Yeah, 30 pounds, 33 pounds.
Oh, 33
yeah,
pounds.
She's
a good
small.
size.
She is. She's a good size. Yeah. My other two, I've got one that's 40 and one that's 50. So she's a small one for a typical Carolina.
Cool.
Off topic, but anyway, we'll throw it out there.
No, it's never off topic for you.
No, this is true. I'll always talk about dogs. So anyway, I think the point is, let's talk about what we can do to maybe mitigate a little of the, I got to start over from scratch. I've got to fight now these amazing sugar cravings that I didn't have as much before in the past, because it truly changes our chemistry. And then you go into your world and the mental and emotional, we stop meditating, we stop, being in the present, all of these things. And we are making some pretty big changes even over a short period of time. So what I want to do is let Fran start.
Okay, well, I'm thinking about why we get kind of off center. And I think one of the things for me is that I have some childhood memories that are wonderful for Christmas, and it takes a lot of work to duplicate that. And so real life doesn't really add up to that, for me anyway. So I have to be careful and really manage my mood through the holidays. It doesn't help that I have a December birthday.
That's right.
Which we won't mention when it is.
Happy
but
birthday.
Thank you.
Anytime in December.
But it's challenging for me. So to me, it's about real life. How do I do what is reasonable for the holidays instead of what I did when I was conditioned, when I was younger? I was a mom, I was a wife. I used to bake like crazy. I mean, you wouldn't believe how much I would have.
Really? I've never been a baker.
Oh, I baked Swedish coffee cake where you roll it out, you butter it, you fold it over, you roll it out, you butter it, on and on and on. I did bread, I did cookies, I even made my own fruit cake because I actually love fruit cake. Real fruit cake is really pound cake with good dried fruit and nuts in it.
Good to know.
That's what real fruit cake is.
I just thought it was a paperweight.
Yeah, not the joke. So in England, you can get real fruit cake. So anyway, the other thing is that you can be so busy with all of the holiday gatherings, the baking and cooking and shopping and gift wrapping that you neglect your personal practices, whatever they might be. So for me, the important personal practices are meditation, journaling, yoga, and some other forms of exercise. So I no longer am willing to give any of that up.
You're so good. I gave it up tonight. I did. We were supposed to do yoga tonight, and I have Christmas shopping still to do and work still to do, and I did not go to yoga because now I'm stressed because we're close to Christmas and I have stuff to ship. And it's not going to make it now.
Well, the better version of me would be shipping things, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So anyway, I know everybody has their standards, but I think some way of sticking to what is going to let you be your best is one way to think of it. Yeah. And I don't meditate as much as I used to meditate. The other thing is that I found myself, I was at a big Christmas party Friday night. It was wonderful. But my food sensitivities did not let me indulge. Mm-hmm. So I had, I think I had like a few shrimp and cocktail sauce, mm-hmm. and I literally had one piece of cheese because I can't eat dairy products. Mm-hmm. I didn't have that much of all the goodies because I couldn't eat most of the goodies. I had some carrots. I walked out of there in pretty good shape.
It makes a big difference. It really is amazing when we know how negatively food can affect us, because for you, it's a really big effect. And it makes it very uncomfortable for you, and so you're not willing to do that. So I think for others, it's either I don't understand enough about my body to know that these are the foods that are making me feel the way that I do, or I just don't care,
Well, yeah, but, and at one time I didn't care, mm-hmm. and at one time I was really lean, and I could eat Christmas cookies without any problem. And by the way, one of the things that because I have worked on mindfulness, I actually can I can create the experience for myself of eating a butter cookie.
I'm going to start working on that.
It helps because I can't eat a flour-based cookie mm-hmm. anymore. Now, mm-hmm. I was thinking I was going to try to bake some cookies and do almond flour, and I've done a little bit of that before. But the other thing for me is that I don't have the time that I once had.
Yeah.
So, but getting back to some of the bad habits and then some of maintaining some good habits, we were talking about how you can get into some extremes if you eat with wild abandon over the holidays, and then you expect to return to something somewhat what will seem Spartan mm-hmm. In January. Those are some extremes that are going to be hard for your body to get over.
It is. So yeah, if you decide, okay, well, so it's only a month. We start with Thanksgiving, and then the parties come, and then we just decide that who cares. I've done it. I did it last year. I did it last year with sugar and gluten, and I put on weight in my face. I can't do gluten. It's mostly for vanity. I'm sure there are other things going on inside of my body, but my face breaks out like crazy, like big, and they're around for months and months and months. So it's awful.
I didn't know that.
Yes, like months and months. It took me a long time to get this face cleared up from last year. It's kind of just happening, yeah. And so this year I decided it's not worth it to me. It's one of those things. It's not worth it to me. But you kind of have to get to that point, because I knew it was not good for me, and I, wasn't dealing with it well. But then after the fact, and I put on a few pounds, and I had the wine and the beer and did the stuff, and then you're kind of going backwards. Once you start at the beginning of the year, you're going backwards from that point that you were, both mentally, physically, emotionally, chemically, or biochemically. You are creating these changes. You're creating more sugar, and I say you, meaning myself as well, but more sugar cravings, and it's harder to not want those things when you've been indulging on them for a period of time. And and I mean, like, truly indulging a little bit here and there it's fine. It's a happy place, right? You know, you have a little chocolate, you have a little this or a little of that, you know, some wine. We're actually having a little wine right now. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
To good habits.
But I think it's a matter of understanding your body and knowing that if you go too far to the other end, that it's going to be really, really difficult to come back. So enjoy, but don't indulge so much, you know. Enjoy what you're doing, enjoy what you're eating, but know your body well enough to know that coming out of it's not gonna be fun. You know, everybody wants to do the detox in January, and it makes it that much harder because you have these intense cravings, and your body's just not ready because you have essentially created a new habit.
So I have to have sweets, and I used to be, my joke was that I never wanted to be left alone in a room with a whole cake, because I made cakes from scratch based on my recipes. I created recipes. I love cake. I would like to change the world and have everybody understand the difference between crap and real cake.
That's beautiful.
I used to imagine myself sitting with a card table out in front of a regular grocery store with real cake and then the crap that they sell and say, would you please taste the difference? But what I've had to do, I cannot feel deprived, because I mean, I don't know if it would be that much of a problem now, but for years, the way I worked with myself was that I had to have some kind of sweets. And I was telling someone that I have dessert after lunch and I have dessert after dinner. So that's one reason I don't have both lunch and dinner all the time. But I have a little bit, and I've gotten away from stuff that has cane sugar or whatever kind of processed sugar. Last week I went to Fresh Times Eatery in Boulder, and they had Mexican wedding cookies that were gluten-free and low sugar, and they were wonderful, and I want to try to make something like that.
That'd be great.
I have a recipe, and I'm going to use almond flour and see where it takes me.
Cassava. Have you tried cassava?
No.
Try cassava. I don't know how well it bakes, but it seems to do well.
So just the idea of working with yourself about what it is you need. If you need Christmas cookies to get through Christmas, then by golly, have some Christmas cookies. But be careful about how much you're doing, and know that you have to, just as you get into that, you're going to have to back right out of that. So
it's a lot easier to jump in than it is to jump out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have 3 consequences. I've mentioned before on this podcast that I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I control it with diet almost alone.
Amazingly well.
Thank you. I mean, if you look at my hands, I don't have crippled fingers and hands, which is normal if you have rheumatoid arthritis. I would if I wasn't careful.
Yeah.
So I have the consequences of an autoimmune disease if I eat badly with some things. I have a digestive extravaganza that I have if I have other things.
That's so great.
Or as in Wayne's World, I remember he used to talk about a peristaltic reaction. So, and then the third thing is just theoretical. Just that I've decided to eliminate sugar. And in doing so, when I get regular sugar, it doesn't taste good to me anymore.
It's too sweet.
It is. And the high fructose corn syrup.
Oh, for the love of Pete.
Yeah, for the love of Pete. That's exactly. So, you know, you may have some things too where you have literal health consequences if you eat something, like an autoimmune disease. You may have different health consequences if you eat some other thing like we were talking about. And the third thing is just theoretical stuff about trying to eat better. Or let's say your doctor has told you, hey, you know, if you would control your diet this way or that way, you are pre-diabetic, let's say, and you're going to avoid type 2 diabetes if you control your eating. So it's kind of theoretical at this stage. Thank the Lord.
Yeah.
And Pete.
Yeah. And Pete. I'll thank the Lord over Pete, but
so it just depends on where you are with all these things. Now, I want to bring up meditation. I was telling Nikki that a long time ago when I used to bake like crazy and shop and send all the presents and get them shipped, God, I don't know, before December 20th or whatever the deadline was. All of that stuff. I remember one time meditating, and all of a sudden I felt myself drop like 3 feet.
That's such an interesting story.
And like literally, I felt as if I had fallen 3 feet and landed in my chair because I was so wound up that for me, being wound up is a literal thing. I'm up in my head, and my energy is up out of my body, and I dropped down into my body. Now, I'm going to say bad things about that. If you are not inhabiting your body, now imagine if you moved out of your house for 6 months. You may have a possum find its way into your house, or a raccoon, or squirrels.
Bats. Which I think are fun. I like bats.
Oh, I see.
I love
and
bats.
You could even have squatters move into your house. Well, that's what happens when we don't fully inhabit our bodies. We can pick up we can just broadly call foreign energy. It just means that it is. So imagine Uncle Charlie, who's not in charge of his emotions. He is going to leave a trail of emotional energy wherever he goes. And if you are not inhabiting your body at Christmas, after Uncle Charlie leaves, he hasn't been accountable for any of his actions, you might pick up Uncle Charlie's ungrounded emotions. There's all kinds of ways we can look at and talk about what is called foreign energy in Chinese medicine. And that is just a good term that my teachers have borrowed. But if you just imagine that there are people who are not accountable for their so-called moods, for their emotions, for the shitty things they say to other people and then leave the room. Isn't that always charming?
Yeah.
That gets left behind as energy. And if you're not fully inhabiting your body might happily lap that shit up and and try to make everybody else happy. No, don't worry, I'll take up Uncle Charlie's crap and don't worry, I'll handle it. So there are lots of bad habits when we're dealing with the little grab bag that becomes a family. The people that you may have to deal with. So add bad spiritual habits to some bad eating habits and throw in a little bit of alcohol, and what have you got?
A party.
And maybe it's just in your head, and maybe you're going to have to reconcile it come January.
That's true. And I think that was one of the reasons why we wanted to do this, is because we all have, I think most of us, not everybody, most of us, I've had it, we have all had the mentality that it's the holidays, it's okay because it's the holidays, and maybe some of it is. I've certainly had more wine during this holiday season than I would any other time of the year, but I've still been very careful about what I'm eating, and sometimes accidents happen, and that kind of stinks when it does, but it's a part of it. It's a part of life, but I'm aware, and that's the goal, is just to be aware and to. Oh, I'm going to say this, and I'm not sure I'm going to get it right. This came from a pastor of ours back when we were living in Dallas, and the topic is different. He was talking about cheating, but this, I would say, is a very similar situation. Is putting yourself. We always talk about living in the present, which I think is smart. That's what we need to do, but put yourself in that situation. Think about yourself in that situation at the beginning of the year when you put on your 5 or your 10 pounds and you've been glutenized like, I have been so many times, and I was last year. And you've had all of the wine, and now you want to get back on track, and it's so much harder than it was. It's, just think about being in that situation. And how not fun it is, and then how good you're going to feel going through the holidays, indulging a bit, having a little bit of fun, maybe a little extra wine, maybe a little cookie or a cake or whatever it is that you do here and there, but you still feel good through the holidays. You still fit in your clothes through the holidays. You're enjoying yourself, and then when you decide to it's okay, I'm gonna clean up and get rid of some of the junk. It's not as difficult as it was, and
Wow.
then getting back into the meditation and the exercise. This is where I'm failing right now, is just getting into yoga. But anyway, I think I interrupted you. But
No, I love this conversation. So I went to Natural Grocers, which is our health food chain here in Denver. I don't remember.
they're everywhere now.
Are they? They are. Actually, I go in when I'm in Albuquerque.
Yep.
I've got it all figured out where the Natural Grocers is. But
That's great.
on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, I shopped, and I asked the cashier how the day was. You know, was it very stressful? And she said, "Oh no," she said, "I think for the most part, our customers eat so healthy that they aren't as stressed out as other people." I thought
That's
was
a really
amazing.
great point. You eat a lot of the junk, you're gonna get more stress because it's stressing the body out. So everything's gonna be amplified.
And there's a lot of good choices I find that are available now that, golly, I've been gluten-free for 10 years, and
Before it was cool.
Yeah. And it was there were no gluten-free choices back then. So now we have lots of choices. In terms of gluten, you might be able to eat all the gluten you want in the world. I mean,
I wouldn't. just saying.
You know, I know someone whose doctor, I mean, when I started being gluten-free, my doctor thought I was crazy. But I know someone whose doctor suggested they be gluten-free nowadays.
It's so nice. Yeah, we're getting there. You know, slowly but surely, we're getting there. So
and just to have fun also. We're just talking about moderation and being able to get back to center. Whether you're getting back to center with your eating, whether you're getting back to center with your yoga practice or running or weight training or whatever it is that brings you back to center with exercise, getting back to center with meditation or prayer or whatever routine that you use, whether it might be spiritual study, where you wake up in the morning and you do some spiritual study, whatever it is, try not to get too far off center during these holidays, and so that your trip back to center isn't so arduous. That's all we're talking about.
I think that's a beautiful way of summing it up.
So thank you for those of you who tuned in while we're live.
Hi, Autumn.
And thank you for those of you who listen to us over time. And don't beat yourself up.
Don't beat yourself up. If you have questions, you can post them down below and let us know. You can always reach out to us, either one of us, on Facebook or our websites. It's reallyflourish.com, right?
Yes.
And tastelifenutrition.com. We're here for you. Let us know if you have anything else that you want us to talk about, because obviously we kind of have fun.
And you know what I want to also tell you is that do not despair about that idea about the foreign energy. That can be cleared up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Merry
Thank
Christmas,
you.
Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, all of the good things.
Happy Kwanzaa and the Festival of Lights, Diwali. Whatever your particular celebration is, may you enjoy it.
I think we're doing this again, though, so we're going to say all of this, well, at least the Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah's part over again. But we've got a couple more that we're going to try to do before Christmas. But let us know if you have questions. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.